All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today is January 22nd, 2025. This meeting is for our LJ Realty Team, and we want to get started with our ljagent.com. It was recently updated. Obviously, you have your training videos. Now, we want to encourage our loan officers and our real estate agents to get their notary license, right? If you're watching this recorded later on, guys, it plays a big role when it comes to leads and converting those leads, right? Especially those agents that are coming into the office and sitting and they're dealing with notary, and we're seeing the conversion. So if we're seeing that, we want to hopefully one of you, two of you, three of you guys can get your license and have that authority of notarizing different documents and giving you business cards. We have made tens of thousands of dollars through that. We don't charge any notary fee. It's just a public service that we're giving. But every time we're completing it, we're giving a business card with it, telling them, hey, we do mortgages, we do real estate. And when the time comes for them, hopefully they come back to you. We have completed these transactions, so I highly encourage that you check that out and see how you can get your license with the New York State. Okay? All right, guys. Let's get started with our interest rates. They are hovering around 7.04 according to Freddie Mac, very similar to Mortgage News Daily, 7.08. So 7 is the norm that we're seeing. We are locking in rates 6.99, 6.89, really depending on the client situation. But the interest rates are the interest rates. They are around 7%. Okay? Why they're not coming down? Because Fed doesn't want the inflation to go way too high. It's already heading in the higher direction. It's at 2.9 right now, but Fed does not want to see that over 3%, over 4%. Nobody wants to see that, right? If the inflation does go up to, let's say, 5%, Fed will have no other choice but to, leave the rates as high as possible because they want the inflation to come down. Okay, high inflation is no good for an average American either. We don't want to go to the deli and buy a gallon of milk and it's costing us $7, $8, where it should be $4 or $5 or less, right? So we want that as a whole, we want our inflation to stay as low as possible as well, because we want our dollar to give us more for the same dollar, right? We don't want it to value less. So it does play a big role in the economy. We want that inflation data to stay as low as possible. Okay. Unemployment. The Fed wants to see this below 5%. It's already under less than 5%. It's at 4.20 currently. So if it stays below 5% or it stays within 4%, Fed doesn't need to do any rate cuts. Okay. They want the inflation to come down. They want the unemployment to stay down below 5%. If those things are happening, why would they do any rate cuts, right? So that's the dilemma that we're having. So your client typically needs to make around $135,000 as household income in order to qualify for a property that's in Queens here around $773,000. And that's a very realistic number. Most of the closing that we're seeing that's either happening 600,000 to $1 million. That's the norm that we see. So if your client is asking, hey, what the income should look like, right? You're not a loan officer, but as a real estate agent, you should still have an idea that, hey, if someone is making $35,000 versus $80,000 versus $135,000, what they may qualify for, right? But there's also down payment, how much money they want to put down for their down payment. Let's say this family wants to put down $80,000. Their monthly debt plays a big role. I was live on TikTok yesterday and people were giving me different scenarios and they are amazed when we put in the monthly debt. Hey, you bought a car and you have $300 a car payment, or you bought a, furniture and it was like $10,000 furniture and you have to make those payments every month. That's your monthly debt. That's your liability that you have to pay until it's paid off. So it plays a big role. So you could be making $1 million, but if you're having, your expenses are $800,000, that's no good. Right? Your debt to income ratio is very important when it comes to mortgages. So you want your debt to income ratio to stay below 49%, but you want to be really comfortable, go with around 43 to 45%. Okay. So this family can qualify for $773,000. Okay. Another thing is the pre-approvals that you guys see as realtors, right? We have to start taking some action on it, but nowhere in the pre-approval says property taxes. So you have to ask your client, hey, what property taxes did you tell your loan officers? What price range did the loan officer put in for property taxes? Was it 5,000? Was it 7,000? Was it 10,000? Right? It will really make or break that deal if the property taxes were incorrectly inputted. Okay? So nobody likes to go over asking price. Nobody should go over asking price in this day and age, right? But there are times where the listing agent have put the property on the market below the market value. We see a lot of experienced agents are doing that as well. So there's a strategy. They just want more people coming in. So for that, you probably have to go through a bidding war. Maybe, because it's priced well. Anytime it's priced well, the end of the day, the listing agent will have more offers and more options, right? So this way, you as a realtor, when you're putting in an offer, see if it's actually listed below market or way above market. Right? You're the realtor, you're the expert in that. So there are times where you would have to, increase your offer. So there's about eight of us here. What tools are you guys using to put an offer? So let's say I show the property is listed for $1 million, and the client says, "Hey, Hassan, Rupinder, Harjeet, what is the price that you think I should put this for?" So what tools will you use? Anyone? We're not gonna just offer. Okay. So you guys actually using those. Uh-huh. Right? So RPR is one of them. Geodata is another one, right? Matrix, doing a CMA there, that's another one, right? Seeing if I'm putting in an offer for, $1 million and it's two-family property and it has 5 bedrooms and it probably needs somewhat work, right? I'm gonna see what other competition I have with that property. So when I go see that listing agent or if I'm putting in an offer, I want to see what else was closed in that time frame, maybe in last 6 months in that area, right? You have matrix for that. You can really refine it. Hey, show me only the active ones. What is active in this zip code with this many bedrooms and bathrooms? And see the price range do its thing, right? So you can see what's active. Next you can do is what was sold in that same zip code with the same specs that we just mentioned. So you have two different things. Hey, there's 4 properties available that's very similar to this guy's, and they're asking for $900,000. Why is he asking for $1 million? Right? So we have to do our research, what's active, what is sold in that particular zip code. Okay. Then you have your RPR. It's going to give you a valuation there. I will take screenshots of that. I will take screenshots of the geodata, and then I will tell my client, hey, this is what I think. And if you guys send us as LJ Mortgage Team, hey, this is the property's address and I want to put in an offer. What do you think the value should be? We can actually give you a PDF as well. Not everybody's requesting that. It's perfectly fine. But you guys have tools, Matrix, RPR, Geodata right at your fingertips. And within 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes in, you can have an idea if the property was priced higher or below market value. Okay? So before you also put in an offer, you have to look at the pre-approval. Okay, we're going through this right now where the offer was submitted, offer was being accepted. Now the buyer's agent is speaking to the loan officer, and the loan officer is saying that, hey, I'm not too sure if this person would qualify for this. But that loan officer gave that pre-approval at some point, right? If you're giving a pre-approval to a client for $1 million, $500,000, doesn't matter what the amount is, right? That loan officer needs to be held accountable to a certain degree. So you as a buyer's agent, hey, you want to call that loan officer. Where do you get that loan officer's information? Anyone, if I want to get in touch with the loan officer, where would I find his or her information? On the pre-approval, right? On the bottom of it, it should have his signature or her signature, and you want to call them up and say, "Hey, I see a pre-approval for $1 million. I am about to put in an offer for $950,000 for our mutual client." And obviously, we know that the listing agent is going to call you, loan officer. So, as a buyer's agent, I'm calling you before that. I want to make sure that we're on the same page. So, what do you want to ask that loan officer? Anyone? What would we want to ask that loan officer for our mutual client? Okay. We want to ask them for the pre-approval status, right? How old is this pre-approval? What did you do to actually access this amount? Did you actually do maybe a soft pull? Did you do a hard pull? Did you actually check his proof of funds, right? Some loan officers will just look at the face and write $1 million. There will be some loan officers will not touch a file or give a pre-approval without making sure that this person actually qualifies. You have no idea which loan officer that person is. So you have to make that call and ask them about the status, ask them to verify the funds. Did they verify the funds or not for the down payment and the closing cost, right? What loan program are they going with, right? Some pre-approval will say, hey, this is a FHA loan, this is a conventional loan. Some pre-approvals will not. So you have to decide when you're making that call, say, hey, I have multiple offers, or I'm about to put in an offer for this client. What type of loan are they getting? Right? Is it FHA? Is it conventional? Right? How about the appraisal process? Right? How long does it take you to order the appraisal? Because these are the same questions that the listing agent will be asking the loan officers, and we prefer as a buyer's agent, you do that before you put in an offer. Okay? Because end of the day, it will make you look more professional if you're doing this. You're building that relationship with that loan officer, and you want to ask them about communication protocol as well. Are they actually communicating with you on regular basis, right? Are they giving you on updates on regular basis, right? There are some loan officers that will not have any idea who the realtors are, and there are some loan officers that will give you an update on regular basis. Okay, so you just want to verify, hey, I'm about to put an offer for 950. I see a pre-approval for $1 million. Is this person legit? You can reword it in your own terms, however you want. The main thing is picking up the phone and calling that loan officer before you make an offer. Okay. So there are some buyers out there or first-time home buyers still debating, should I keep renting or not, right? You have to really show them. Sometimes you have to show them the prices. I sometimes have conversation with, the deals that we have closed maybe 5 years ago. Hey, even at that time, 5 years ago, it was such a hard call for you. What do you think is happening to your property value right now? And he mentioned, hey, I bought it for $500,000. My neighbor sold a similar property for $750,000, right? So he can clearly compare his property with the next door neighbor and say, hey, my property, I'm pretty sure that I can make $250,000 in 5 years now, right? So that was a good move that he did 5 years ago. So your property is going to be appreciating. You're paying down the loan, right? Every month you're paying down the loan. The principal is getting hit little by little, right? And you're getting some tax benefits as well, being a homeowner. So the prices are going up, right? Prices are going to keep going up, even at 4%, 5%, in some areas even higher. The prices are always going up. Instead of paying rent, you're paying your mortgage and you're getting some tax benefits. All the interest that you pay throughout the year, you can have that tax break. Okay? If you still think that you can keep renting, look at the net worth. If you're renting year after year, you're not breaking even. Net worth on typically is around $10,000 versus for a homeowner, it's around $400,000 in 2024, right? 42 times more. So yes, it is difficult to purchase a property. Yes, there are a lot of steps. Yes, you have to, really be serious about it if you want to complete this transaction. But when you do that, it does bring your net worth higher. Okay. On the negative side, owning a home also has some, things to worry about. You don't want all your income to go towards your housing expenses. As we mentioned, DTI, your debt to income ratio, you want to keep it as low as possible. You don't want to max out on your budget, right? And you want to have emergency funds for unexpected repairs or things in life. Right? As a realtor, I'm just having these conversations. I'm not a robot. I'm just saying all these things. This is part of your conversation when you're talking to a first-time home buyer. Okay. Next, guys, this is in the news. This is big news for all the realtors out there, all the homeowners out there, and all the builders out there. Right? City is saying that there's a shortage of housing, and we need more housing. So they made some changes recently, and we're gonna go through them. So the program is called City of Yes for housing opportunity. So few things as realtors we should know. There was a long list of things that really came about with this program, but we're going to really go through what really matters to us as realtors. So the first one is Affordability Preference, UAP, is basically saying that is the city is allowing 20% more space to be built. So 20 percent of your floor area ratio, which is FAR, right? 20% increase will allow you to build even bigger bedrooms, right? Or have multiple, maybe have an additional bedroom or two, right? Really depending on the criteria for the property. But just in general, the rule is that around 20% more can be built on the same property. Okay. Next is that is allowing, this is a big one, that is allowing accessory dwelling units, which we're going to go over, and is allowing the basements, right? Basements to be legalized. So there's going to be steps of converging them, making sure that it complies, every basement complies. But this is the biggest news that we can think of. That hey, basements is going to be legal, right? How many basements are in Queens that are illegal? A lot, right? That we know of. So we want to make sure that hey, if that can be legal, when you're talking to the homeowners, you can tell them, hey, do you want to legalize your basement? Let me help you out. Okay. So this is what it looks like, guys. So a couple of four different things that you can do with your property. One is your basement conversion, right? Your basement, maybe you are already renting it out illegally. Now you can do it legally, right? You have to go through the inspection and make sure it complies with that. Second is that you can convert your garage into a housing unit as well. Or simply, if you don't have a garage there, you can put a unit there, ADU there, right? Small unit to rent that out. Or the last one is attaching that ADU unit to your premise that you have right now. So you have the basement, you have your converted garage, you have your detached ADU, and you have attached ADU. Okay? So as realtors, if we can help out these homeowners do that, that means they're bringing more revenue, right? We already have set amount of income as homeowners, right? The one of the reasons they're renting out the basements illegally because they want to be, be basically use those funds to pay off the mortgage or pay off the repairs. So as a homeowner, if you can bring that value to them, just start having that conversation with them as a realtor because these changes are really brand new. Okay. You want to learn about them, Google them, chat GBT, say, how do we get more, details on this? Really get to know this system. Ask me any questions. I'm not an expert in this. This is fairly new and everything, but collectively, we can all make sure that we can help out the homeowners being a realtor out here. Okay. Yes, sir. Correct. But I'm not too sure how the taxes assessment is going to play out. Right now, they didn't mention any of that. But if they start counting the living area, I think the revenue that's bringing in from this conversion is still going to outweigh your, tax amount. If the tax amount goes up, let's say $1,000, but the property is bringing $12,000 more per year, obviously there's a lot more benefits to that, right? Yep. Also, it's allowing there's some zones in Queens, Brooklyn, where it strictly said, hey, even in Long Island, that strictly simply said that, hey, it was single family, right? You cannot build multifamily in those areas. Those are changing as well. No details yet which areas, but they're saying that more and more of the single family zoned property will become multifamily. So again, anybody that's owning that property, that land in that area, will the value is going to go up. Now they can build even multifamily at the same property there. Okay. Another one was that there are people out there who have, they use their rental, so they have a shared housing model basically, where they're allowing the kitchen and the bathroom to be shared, and they're renting out each individual rooms, right? So co-living spaces. So that is also going to become legal if you go through that process. Okay, we know a few homeowners that was doing it, and we said, hey, we don't recommend it. It's not legal and everything. But now, if it's becoming legal, again, if they're asking you, these things are changing. Okay, so ADU, multifamily, shared spaces. So when you're talking to your clients, and if they say, hey, I heard on the news, city of yes, you should mention these things. Okay. Parking, this is the last one, was the parking rule that anytime you want to build a property, they always said, hey, you need to have parking restrictions. They're getting rid of that. So now more buildings can be built where they don't have to worry about the parking. Okay. Any questions on that, guys? That was a big news for all of us. City of yes. Okay. More space, basement being legalized, garage being converted into one bedroom. So pretty big changes for 2025. All right, guys. Next, we have these headlines here. Home prices up in every major metro for first time since 2022. So we mentioned that prices are going up just because there's not enough inventory out there, right? Cost inflation rates to remain challenging in 2025. So if we were to say, hey, the rates is going to drop next week or so, is not, right? Or even this month or next month or this year. The rates might adjust a bit, but they're not going to come down to where any home buyer would want, right? 5%, 4%, that's not going to happen, right? There are some buyers who hope to benefit from slow winter months is because they have less competition right now, okay? But as a realtor, right, that was for our buyers and everything. But as a realtor, how do you take that information when you read those headlines, right? You take it in one or the other way. One is that you tell yourself, hey, the market is slow, the interest rates are high, and your inventory is super low. I can't close any deals. And you keep telling yourself that, hey, I cannot close any deals. I cannot close any deals. And guess what? You're not going to close any deals. Or you're going to say that, hey, I will succeed. I will close deals with motivated buyers who are ready to take some action this year. And if you think that people are not buying, you're in the wrong. People are buying. It's just not as the masses are not buying. There are still people who are investing, who are people who already own multiple properties, and they're buying more because they know the game, right? We're not here to convert anybody or convince anybody, hey, you should buy a house. You're looking for buyers who are ready to go. And there's not a lot of them out there. So you do have to find them through the lead sources that we're going to talk about. Your mindset makes the difference, guys. If we focus on the opportunities and not the obstacles, right? So you got to decide how you want your 2025 to be. Okay. Next guy, if your client is you're showing a property and it needs a lot of work, or sometimes it doesn't need too much work, it doesn't need gut renovations, right? It just needs some minor work. So you want to maybe they want to, basically paint the entire place. That's the most minor thing you can go, hey, I just need to paint it over. Everything else is fine. or I need to add a home office, or I need to get a brand new flooring now, right? I want a hardwood floor. I want to get rid of this carpet, right? Or closet renovations, or I want to, do any type of upgrades to a property, right? You want to do that, you probably say, hey, speak to your loan officer and see if he or she gives you an option for FHA limited 203K loan. First of all, it seems like such a complicated name, FHA limited 203K loan. This way, you have that knowledge of telling that first-time home buyer that you can get one loan to purchase the property and to renovate the place. And the question, usually follow-up question is like, how much is the for renovation they allow? Up to $75,000. So you can purchase the house for $500,000. You can get another $75,000 for to renovate the place. Okay, so you do need your credit scores above 580. You can put down as low as 3.5% down payment. Your debt to income ratio can be up to 54%, right? Appraisal. Appraisal usually has two values for this type of loan. It will give you the value in the current condition, and also it will give you a value for after the repairs. If you're planning to get an upgraded kitchen, obviously you would get a contractor, right, and get an estimate. So you do that with two or three different people, and it costs $10,000 to upgrade that kitchen, right? Now the appraisal will add that value to it. So you can get one loan, guys, to purchase and to renovate. It's called FHA Limited 203K loan. Okay. This was a survey done by Housing Wire, just saying that, hey, what are the challenges, right? This is not just LJ. We did a survey for us, so we got some results. This is for the whole United States, right? What real estate agents are really, what are their top five challenges? Number one they have is the low inventory, right? But every market is a little different, guys, right? There are some inventory where the inventory is increasing a bit. Getting listings is one of the toughest things you can do. There are some brand new agents, sometimes I interview and they say, hey, how could I be a listing agent? Right? And you try to put yourself in their shoes, right? Of course, they want that. But how about putting yourself in the seller's shoes, right? The homeowner that wants to sell that property. They'd never want to list it with someone that doesn't have any experience. So you need to make sure that you're closing enough deals on the buyer side in a particular market, let's say South Ocean Park, and you're confident that, hey, anytime that single family property comes on the market, I'm able to sell it, then you have no problem speaking with these homeowners, right? If you're brand new and don't know the difference between this and that, it's going to be hard for you to get that listing, right? So that homeowner wants to give that listing to an experienced agent. So make sure you know your steps, okay? Connecting with Sphere, that was another one, and business planning. You guys are independent contractors, right? So that means that, hey, you have to take action on your own. We can provide you with tools, training. The hustle got to come from you guys. Doesn't matter if you're experienced, if you're brand new, using the tools, hustling, and making sure that you can connect with your clients through the programs, that makes the biggest difference. Okay. Even as a mortgage professionals, their biggest challenges, number one was the interest rates. If the interest rates are too high, there are not enough people coming in for pre-approval. Lead generation is another one. Home prices are high, lack of inventory, very similar to what we see as realtors out there. Okay. And as myself here, as a broker, what challenges that we see that we don't want to grow as a team, just numbers. Hey, we have 60 agents, we have 70 agents, we have 100 agents. No, we want to make sure that every agent is increasing their production. Literally, we're not dealing, myself, I'm not dealing with any clients out there, guys. I really want to be that resource for you guys. Hey, let's close more deals, right? How can we close more deals? And let's just talk about that and make sure that every one of us can close more deals than last year and the year before. Okay. And this was a survey asking all three of us, as a broker, as an agent, as a loan officer, hey, what do you think will happen with interest rates in the next 3 months? Majority of them, above 50% of them said that, hey, it's going to stay flat. So if that's going to stay flat for next 3 months, right, how are you going to react to it? Okay. And what direction do you think the home prices will go in the next 3 months? Again, 50% will say it stays flat. If the home prices doesn't increase, that's perfectly fine with us. If it decreases, it's perfectly fine with us as realtors. Okay? So those were your stats, guys. For lead generation, guys, I was doing a research for you guys, and I want to see what other channel that you guys can try out. I personally have not tried this out. It does have a lot of good reviews, and they're getting leads from different sources, and they're selling them to you. It's called marketleader.com. It's for realtors, and it will provide you leads. It's advertising on Google. It's buying leads from Zillow and other places, and then they sell that to other agents out there. Okay? So they're saying that you will get number of leads every month. They will never share your leads with other agents out there, and you get leads in the target market. So if you want to be in South Ocean Park or New Hyde Park, you can pick those areas. Okay? So I really want you to just try it out where you're not committed for a long term and see what kind of results that you get. Okay? Marketleader.com. We spoke about Zillow. We have few agents who mentioned that, hey, after the meeting, I tried signing up with Zillow and I tried one zip code and they were saying that, the minimum budget is $1,500 per month. I don't recommend anybody investing $1,500 per month on Zillow. I do not, right? Unless you are in really high production and you can afford it. So you simply don't use that zip code. You go to a different zip code with your $200 budget and see what kind of leads they're giving you in that area, right? If that doesn't work out, try another one. You have to make sure that you start your budget low and then increase it. And you want to compare the zip codes, the rank, and number of leads Zillow is providing to you. Okay? It does work, guys. Even within our brokerage and throughout the other brokerages out there, it does work because you don't know which client was which working with which agent and now it's falling under your lap because they went to Zillow and they want to see that particular property. Okay? So you can reach out to them by calling this number or going to this website. Realtor.com does the same exact thing. We have few agents that's on Realtor.com. Some of them are converting. It's all up to you which service you want to try. Okay, so you have options. You have Zillow, you have Realtor.com, you have Redx.com, and now have MarketLeader.com. Okay, there are other out there that you guys want to try out for leads. It's perfectly fine, but these four, the top three definitely work. The fourth one, you guys gonna give me feedback on that. Okay. So this quote that I wanted to mention last time was that, hey, to achieve greatness, right, you need to excel mastering at the basics. So as realtors, our job is very super hard because we cannot go under contract quickly, right? People tend to give up. Sometimes they don't have the patience to work with that client, but just knowing the basic things and repeating them on daily basis will make the biggest difference for all of us. So how we find properties, that's one. Am I showing properties? That's another. And do I know how to actually do the paperwork? Do I know how to put in an offer? How to get my disclosure signed? Right? And those are the things that should be on repeat. I need to know these things on regular basis because that's the only way I can help out a first time home buyer. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen here, guys. Okay. So one is that LJagent.com realtor tools, no password anymore, guys, right? Is that these are the top software that we need, Matrix and Transaction Desk. These are the basics that we're talking about. Anything after that, if you guys know it, that's really good, right? That means you're on level two. I think the level one should be, hey, do I know all the functionality about Matrix? Do I know all the functionality about Transaction Desk? Have I actually added myself as a test just to experience what my client would experience in Matrix or in Transaction Desk? Let me just do one sample offer sheet, send it to myself, and see what my client will do, right? That is only time consuming, nothing else. You get to experience it. So that's why when you're talking to your client and you're seeing the same screen and everything, and you can really knock everything down in minutes, right? So anybody out here, even if you're watching this recorded, guys, send me a message if you have any trouble logging into Matrix. Okay? If you have any trouble logging into Matrix, that's the biggest problem that we have. We want to fix that as soon as possible, right? So we want to fix that as soon as possible. Once you're logged in, right, we have your My Matrix, you have your dashboard, which is exactly this page here. We have My Contacts. These are going to be your clients, right? My Listings. This is, you can drop it down to My Office Listing, what's pending, what's new on the market, anything my, that's yourself, and then My Office, obviously, is your office. Okay, you can get all the details from there. So can anybody tell me what is the difference between my saved searches, my auto emails, and my cards? These three things. What is the difference between these three things? Why not just have one? Anyone? Which one is for your client? Which one sends your client emails automatically? Which which of these, right? My saved searches, my auto emails, or my cards sends your clients emails automatically? My auto email, okay? And if I click on it, I can see all the things that I have set up for my clients, right? How do I know if my client has an email set up? I'm simply going to my contacts and I'm seeing under auto email, do I see any numbers there or not? If I see at least one, that means I have set up auto messages for them. Not only emails, but it also sends them text messages at the same time. So if you are missing this piece here, that means you're not able to send your client properties on a regular basis. The system is willing to do it for you, but you have to spend 5 minutes and tell the system how to do it. So could someone guide me how to do this? I have a brand new client. I just added them. How do I set this thing up for them so they get automatic messages and emails? Matrix at the top. I'm there. Search is correct. Yes. I go to search. Uh-huh. I'm there. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Sure. Mm-hmm. On map. Okay. But before that, I would do a property, yeah, either residential and residential income. The difference between residential and residential income is that residential is looking at it as a single family, and residential income is looking at multiple family, right? Okay, so let's say they're just looking for single family. I selected residential, and then you say you even want to break it down to single family, I select that, right? We don't have to, but if you do it, yeah, okay. So when it comes to area, you can click on map, right? You should do that, and you want to draw on the map. If you don't want to do that, under criteria, you can break it down under county. Let's say I want to be in Nassau, and then you can even put let's say it's going to be in Valley Stream. You can select that. Okay. So price range is really important. Bedrooms, bathrooms is really important, and the area is really important. And look at the matches. Keep an eye on this. We started with about, I believe, 1900 when we just put in the price, and we narrowed it down to 22. So that's a good number to send number of properties to that client, right? So let's say I'm happy with this now. What is the next step? Anyone? Yep. Results. Okay. Yep. There you go. Save. Yep. Perfect. Okay. We're selecting the client. Yeah. And in the subject, we want to tell them which area was it. This is Nassau County or this was in Valley Stream, which 700 to 800K listings. That's it, right? Did I miss this? Where it says also send link via SMS text message. Make sure both of them are checked. As long as both of them are checked is good. And for schedule, we're doing as soon as possible and hitting save. Okay. Again, every one of us should know this, exactly how to do this. Okay. So the same results, if I want to save it for myself and not for the client, is bringing me back to the same page. And under actions, refine and save, now I'm clicking on save and new save search. And I can do the same thing. Okay. So for yourself, you're just saving it. Hey, Valley Stream, 700 to 850. So I'm saving it for myself, not even for any contact. If I wanted to show on my dashboard, then I click on Enable as Favorite Search on Home tab. It allows maximum of 10, right? So if I hit Save, it tells you, hey, we created that, and it still brings you back to the same results. That's how good it is that you can actually make some few more changes and do a new alert for another client, right? It doesn't get rid of your criteria or the map that you have done. It saves you a lot of time. If I'm working with multiple clients, I want to set everybody's alerts in one shot. You can do it through this. Okay. So again, super important that we know our searches. How are we gonna use that? So this one that we just saved, you can see Valley Stream 700 to 850. If I want to make any changes, how do I do that? I go back to Matrix, My Matrix, My Save Searches. And if I just click on this arrow, I can click on Settings and make any changes there. Let's say I misspelled something, or if I want to add the word listing to it, and I'm going to hit Save. And that happened. If I want to change the criteria, if I want to see the results, all of that, you can see it there. Okay? You have to spend at least half an hour just playing around with the system. Once you get comfortable with it, then you can literally help out any client out there. It could be for an investor, it could be someone looking for commercial. So let's do this together, guys. I have saved one search for investors flip, and this morning when I refreshed it, it was 5 properties. I didn't click on it because I wanted to show this and review it together with you. So if I click on 5, number 5 new, That means the system did the research for me. Hey, these are five new properties that should be good for my investor. So I'm clicking on the first one. First thing I'm paying attention to, not even the price, I'm looking at the photos. If I see multiple photos, I am assuming that the property is going to be vacant. Okay? If I just see one photo, I know that it's not going to be vacant in some cases. It's just my thought. That's how I do it. Then obviously you can read it through and make sure if it's vacant or not. So what happened with this property? This property had a price decrease. It went from 499 to 489. I'm looking at how many days is on the market, DOM, days on market, 127 days. That shows a red flag, right? Why this property was not sold yet, right? And if I want to take some action to it, right? If I want to show it to my client, I'm simply clicking on email on the bottom here and I'm sending it to whoever I want to send it to, right? Also send SMS and hit send. You leave subject and email body blank, it will still give them professional body in there, automatically saved, just hit send. Okay. After that, I'm moving to the next property. On top here, it says previous, it says next. So I'm going to click on next and it will take me to the next property. This is in Freeport. Now, this property was on the market for 18 days. I'm looking at 23 photos, right? Look at the price increase. Why would they go from 277 to 350? Okay, maybe the price they really listed it on really on the lowest end. Now they want to make adjustments. We don't want to have that much of gap either. But it's on the market for 18 days. Maybe the listing agent said, "Hey, I want to make some changes," and he did so. Okay. Next we have is in Oceanside. It had a decrease of $50,000 from 599 to 549 just within 20 days. That's a big adjustment within 20 days as well. Okay. Again, you want to spend time on the inventory on daily basis so this way you know what's on the market. Set up, they're saying you can set up 10 alerts, but trust me, even if you set up two or three of them, it will get the ball rolling that, hey, I want to pay attention to different categories. I want to pay attention to the property that were sold recently in that area that just became on the market, right? Any changes to the property, as we just saw there, you want to pay attention to the inventory. Okay, this is a brand new listing, is on the market for 1 day, no price adjustment, it's just a new listing. And maybe I do like it, and maybe I do want to send it to someone. So under actions, email, and follow from there. Okay, another one, this one shows you the open house right away as well. Again, you want to tell your clients, let's go to see that property at the open house, but make sure you have your disclosures and all the forms signed before you go there. Okay. So again, do yourself a favor and make sure your favorite searches are showing. Okay. If you want to make any adjustments to this page or any of that sort, you want to make sure that you can click on edit dashboard and make any adjustments from there. Play around with this as well. See which one you want to toggle on and off and readjust it using these bars here. Okay. Good. Questions, concerns? What do you guys want to go over? So Rupinder, if you can guide us, how we change a status or how do we add a new listing? Add or edit. Listing manager, right? Perfect, right? This is to make any adjustments to your properties, right? You're a listing agent, you want to add a property, you want to edit your property, you want to go add or edit, right? A lot of people think that is going to be under search or my matrix. It should be there, but it's not. They have a separate category, add or edit, right? Once we go here, this is Mr. Ali's listings here. If I want to change the status, how would I do it? I want to change it to under contract. Three dots next to edit. Uh-huh. and then it gives me all the actions, right? So some of the actions you guys can do, guys, change it to active, change it to pending, change it to temporary off market, withdraw, expired, cancel, price change, even hosting open houses. Okay, you can make all those changes there. If you want to edit the full thing, you want to see that view, then you click on edit, and then you can make all your adjustments there. Okay. The software when you're adding a property is a lot cleaner, a lot better than Stratus than what we used to. Also, if you're in the middle of it and you want to leave it as incomplete and come back the next day, you can do so. Now with Stratus, it was not allowing that. So a lot of benefits, but again, you want to make sure that you can play around with the system so you guys know how to use it. Okay. Next, that I want to go through is your CMA. Right? CMA, Mr. Ali uses it a lot. He mentioned it, and that I should mention in the next meeting. We only have about 5, 6 minutes left. I really want to go through that quickly. My CMA. Anytime you want to do a comps for any property, try this, right? My matrix, my CMAs. So let's create one together where it says start a new CMA. You can put it for a client name, right? Select the client. You can create a new contact right there. This is for a property. You can put in the description. You can put in the address if you like. And then you want to click on pages. Okay. If it's your first time doing it, you want to basically, where it says available pages and selected pages, you want to add all of them. Okay. And then once you are used to it, then you can start deleting if you want to delete any of those things there. Okay. It even mentions, hey, activity versus timing, benefits of using a realtor, market analysis, right? Important of pricing. So all these things is going to be mentioned there. So where you can actually bring some value to the client, right? They can review it, learn a thing or two right from the system. Okay. So this is your subject property. You can fill out, put in a listing number if you have so. Otherwise, you can type it in manually here, look for a property. Right. Let's see if we can find another property here. Give me 1 second. All right, let's do this one here. Let's go to CMA. Okay, pages, we're selecting all of them. Okay, I just put in the MLS number and it gave me the full property details. So this is our subject property. The cover, if you want to make any adjustments to your photo or your name or anything like that, you can edit your information there. And the comps, right? You want to find comps for that property. So which area was this in? This was in Hollis. So I'm checking, I'm putting in county. This is in Hollis. I want to look for rental income, right? Duplex. There's 7 of them. Okay, I added them. Clicking on the map, looking at the comparables there, making any adjustments if I have to, looking at the pricing and hitting finish. Okay, and then you want to click on view CMA. It does take about a minute or two for this to generate. So when we're creating CMA, guys, you have to spend at least 30 minutes for each property. because you're checking RPR, you're checking geodata, you're checking MLS right through Matrix here, and you want to create your CMA. All of them collectively minimum of half an hour, right? 30 minutes there. And you give them this. Obviously, this one has 26 pages, right? When you're doing the comps, and it's going to be like an appraisal report because it's really comparing apples to apple. Obviously, right now, because of shortage of time, I just selected whatever properties, but you really want to compare apples to apple when you're doing it, right? And this is your property, the subject property, and then you see the other properties that you have selected. It'll give you price adjustments, okay? And it will tell you, hey, obviously we selected all of them. There was seven available. I selected all of them. You should not have a price gap of this much. It should be either 600 to 700,000 or 1.1 to 1.25, right? It will tell you days on the market, list price, sale price, and the days on the market. Okay, active listings that's available when you're competing with. Okay. This one is showing activity versus timing. The first couple of weeks, we always mention that, hey, first week or two is going to be your hottest anytime you put any property on the market. That's why it's super important to get professional photos to do it. Initially, some people say, hey, no, I'll update it later. No, that time is running out when you put a property on the market. Okay. Guys, it's just that we're short on time, but I highly recommend that you use this because it will give you some templates like this one. Hey, benefits of using a professional realtor. Even you're not mentioning a thing, you're just giving them a report with your comps and everything. It has additional information that makes you even look more professional. If you want to get rid of some of these pages, you can do so when you're selecting them in the initial stages there. Okay. All right, guys, we're running out of time. That'll do it from my end. Any questions, concerns, anything on your mind? Okay. These topics